Welcome to Uncopyable Women in Sales. If you're looking for actionable insights and real-world tools to turbocharge your sales starting tomorrow, well, you're in the right place. Your host, Kay Miller, earned the affectionate nickname Muffler Mama when she sold more automotive mufflers than anyone else in the world. In this podcast, Kay will talk to another superstar woman in sales as they reveal uncopyable strategies you can use to rack up more leads, snag dream clients, and take your sales numbers through the roof. Stay tuned and get ready to make more sales and how about this? More money.
Hey, I have a return guest to the podcast today, Kindsey Haynes. I interviewed you pretty early on in the podcast. You were episode 7. Kindsey is the Chief Marketing Officer of Kirkham Iron Tech, which is a managed IT and cybersecurity service company. Kindsey oversees the marketing and sales department, developing marketing and sales strategies that have led the company to phenomenal growth. Kindsey, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
This is really going to be fun because when we did our interview before, you talked a little bit about AI, and that's something that the listeners have said they want to know more about. You being a super sharp young woman who is a Gen Z and uses AI a lot, I'd love to just dive into how you're using it and specific tools that our listeners can also use. So let's get started.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to talk about.
I know, and we've only got 30 minutes, and you and I love to talk. So where would you like to begin?
Yeah, well, I'll start with Jasper. And Jasper, I guess you could say, is similar to ChatGPT. If you're not using something like ChatGPT or Jasper, it's time to get on that train. That is where you can pretty much type in just about anything into the AI and it gives you a result. So marketing wise, I use it a lot for content and emails and cold outreach. And, if any kind of content that I create and I write up, I can throw it into AI and have it improve it or make it more casual or write it in a certain style. So Jasper's one of those things that I'm using every day for just about everything. It's also good for buyer intent. That's something we've been working on a lot lately. And that is, if you've read Kay's and Steve's books, they talk about your moose, which is your prospect, your ideal prospect. And we've been using Jasper to kind of create buyer intent in meaning where we'll type in, give us information on this company, tell us how many employees they have, tell us some pain points that this company may be having when it comes to IT and cybersecurity. And it kind of gives you a starting point and stuff to work off of. And it may give you some points and ideas you haven't thought of before. Going into 2024, which is kind of crazy. We're already in February, mid-February.
I know.
Yeah. Going into 2024, we wanted to do a big reboot and just kind of a refresher. And Tom is our CEO and founder here at Kirkham Iron Tech. And we've been evaluating numerous tools with AI. And that list is very long. I've got a list. I've kept track of every vendor we've talked to and spoken to regarding their services and what they have to offer when it comes to their AI solutions. And we wanted to do something where we can incorporate, AI specifically into our sales and marketing and make our sales outreach a little bit easier. And there's this website called listed.ai, and this is a website where they list just about every possible AI you can imagine. It ranges from recipe makers to travel itinerary creators to, sales outreach email generators. And me and Tom have just been kind of keeping up with this listed AI website. They post new stuff every single day. And we have found numerous vendors that have these super cool solutions using AI when it comes to sales outreach. And it uses AI to not only find out the buyer persona and then generate the content specifically for that buyer and that prospect that moves. But it also like does the outreach for you, which is super, super neat. Okay. Yeah.
So I have a question. So you talked about buyer intent.
Yeah.
So you're wanting to find out what the buyer wants, pain points, what could improve their business, but you still have to first find that buyer. So how are you using AI to do that part?
Well, we have a few different tools we're using. Lead forensics is one of them. I know I'm mentioning a lot of different.
And by the way, for those of you listening or watching, I'm going to put together a whole list of everything Kindsey's talking about so that you can check these out for yourself. Because you're just going through a ton of different resources and they're all cool. And we want to be able to go back and check them out a little bit further. So go ahead.
So Lead Forensics is a pretty cool company where they can tell you who's visiting your website. Not exactly who, the person that's visiting your website, but the company that's looking at your website. And they can also tell you exactly what pages this company is looking at, for how long they were looking at your website. And they also tell you a little bit about the company, how many employees they have, the industry they're in, anything you'd want to know about a prospect. The company, Lead Forensics, tells you.
I assume that's something that you pay for.
Yes, you pay for it and you connect it up to your website, and it's like a website tracker. It's able to tell you who the companies that are looking at your website and what pages. Again, it doesn't tell you who, the person, but it tells you the company.
And then you can look the company up and find the key person, I'm sure, pretty darn easily.
So what's cool inside of Lead Forensics, you get a certain amount of credits every month. You get 100, or we get 100. I'm not sure what plan we're on, but you're able to go and search by job title or by the name, and you can find a contact for that company right there and reveal their information. So they use data sources like Seamless AI, which I think I may have talked about on the last podcast. I'm not sure.
But why don't you explain what that is?
The Seamless AI is where you can find contact data on individuals and companies. So that could be their email address, their phone number, their website, their physical company address. So if you want to mail them something. And Lead Forensics pulls from a database similar to Seamless. It may be Seamless. I can't remember. And you're able to, inside of Lead Forensics, pull your ideal prospect. So we like IT directors and owners. So if I see, we can just do an example. If I see the IT director of ABC stores looking at my website, I can go and find the IT director inside of Lead Forensics and have their contact information right there. Another tool we've been using called Lead Onion it's new. We've just started using it, so I don't have a ton to tell you on it. We just finished up the trial and started onboarding last week. And it is similar to Lead Forensics in the aspect of it uses different sources to see who is searching certain content on the internet, and it automatically sends out an email flow to a certain amount of contacts per day, depending on the topics and job titles and employee size and requirements you've given it.
So let me just ask you. So Lead Forensics is analyzing people that come to your website, but Lead Onion. What a name. Yeah, I've heard of The Onion, that publication, which is hilarious. So the Lead Onion is exploring or parsing, I think is the word, parsing the internet for your ideal type of clients.
Yep. Yep. And it's looking for our ideal type of clients, but it's looking for our ideal type of clients searching for our ideal topics, which could be managed IT services or managed cybersecurity services or co-managed services. And it automatically, within minutes, puts them into an email flow.
So they automate that for you?
Yeah, it's automated. Well, you create the email content that you want going out. So we have ours sorted out by industry. So like law, accounting, or manufacturing. And we, again, like IT directors and owners. So let's just say, for accounting firms, we have accounting firms, IT directors, owners, employee size, let's just say 200 to 500. And we want them to be in the United States. And I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Yeah, that's it. And then if they meet that criteria and they're searching the list of topics we've given it, it sends them an email flow. And that email flow can be however long. It can be 30 days. It can be 60 days. It can be however many days you want it to be. It sets tasks for you to, go and connect with them on LinkedIn if they meet a certain point in the flow. It tracks replies. And if they send a reply saying, hey, I'm not interested, it automatically takes them off the list. They're only added to one list. And it's just kind of one of those automated things that you set it up, you sit and forget, and you just get email responses from people that are interested. And this was a pretty big discovery. Tom and I have been looking for something like this for a long time. We looked at a lot of vendors. Zaplify, Zaplify was another one we were really interested in. And it's very similar, except like it automates LinkedIn connections and messages. But with the one we're using, it just does emails. We have it set where it's not sending out more than 300 a day, no more than a certain amount an hour. And it's all credit based. So you purchase a certain amount of credits and each contact revealed an email address is a credit. And you can only, use those credits. And you can connect up to 20 email addresses so you're not hurting your email domain reputation.
Okay. I do want to ask you, so with Lead Onion, for example, you are giving them the content or the email templates, but then they're doing everything else for you, right?
Mm-hmm. You set the flow. So you sent out, I want these emails only going out Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. And then you set up, I want this day 1, day 5, day 10, and they just get thrown through the flow. You also can throw in there your competitors' websites. And so you can see who is also looking at your competitor sites. And then you can also see who is downloading content, like actually downloading a piece of content via a form. I know it's kind of creepy and crazy, but this is the AI technology we're working with today, and you're able to reach your moose at that market message media moment. It's hitting, our moose at the right time, the right moment, because they're searching up managed IT services and they're our ideal job title and job size or employee size, employee count.
Boy, this is just, you're blowing my mind. And I know even your mind is blown. AI, it was just a little over a year ago that this exploded onto the market. And I know you've been really on top of things. That's why I wanted to talk to you. So, you're using AI to generate your content or to help generate your content. And then you're using AI to find your moose, which is your ideal target, who is looking at your website, seeing who is looking at other people's websites and inquiring and interested, which of course, we talk about not only your moose, but your hungry moose, your moose that is looking for a solution to their pain or looking for a gain. So this is pretty incredible. It really is. And like you said, if you're not using AI, you're falling behind right now. I mean, you've just got to be using these tools because your competition is.
Today's podcast is sponsored by the acclaimed book, Uncopyable Sales Secrets, How to Create an Unfair Advantage and Outsell Your Competition by Kay Miller. If you want to make more sales, you need to read this book. We'll even get you started with a free download of the first 2 chapters. Go to uncopyablesales.com/chapters to grab this offer right now.
Right.
I did want to ask you just one question about Jasper, because we switched from Jasper to using ChatGPT. We've got ChatGPT 4, which has helped us generate visuals, which have been amazing. Hit and miss, I have to say. It's still getting dialed in. But do you find Jasper to be easier for you to use?
I think it's a personal preference. Just internally, I've kind of seen everyone pick one that they like and stick with it. I know I'm a Jasper fan. Tom's a ChatGPT 4 fan. I know Davin, he was using something else, and we all have, the ones that we enjoy. So
That work the best. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And there are probably going to be more and more options on all these things.
Yeah. I would highly recommend everyone scrolling through Listed AI and, going to the sales tab and just looking at some of the different things you can use AI for sales wise. So, the email content creation, but also help with, figuring out your moose and your moose's pain points. There's so many specific AI tools out there for sales and for marketing that people just don't know about because they're all so brand new. And this Listed AI website, it's constantly throwing those new ones on there so the public can be made aware about them.
So do you just keep checking back to that Listed AI website, or do they send you updates, or how does that work?
I just go back and check it. There might be an email list or something like that. I personally just go and maybe once a week go and look at it, and I'll just go and open a whole bunch of different tabs up and scroll through them and find the ones that I find interesting, look more into them, set demos. I've had so many demos with different companies. I've got my list right here and it's 25. I've met with 25 different companies and they've all been amazing. They all do so many different things, but we were looking for one that could kind of just do a lot of it all at once, like Lead Onion. So,
like you said, there are so many choices, but you're the perfect person to size all these up and pick the best. And again, I'm going to mention that I will have a list of these resources because there are so many, and who knows, we might be getting back on in 6 months, so there'll be that many more. But meanwhile, it's really amazing. So are there other tools then that you want to point out again?
I had mentioned Zaplify. We didn't move forward with them, but I highly recommend looking at them. They do the same thing where it's the automated email flow and email outreach, LinkedIn outreach. There's some too that there's one called Tactic FYI, and it's scrubs job openings. So say we wanted to look for companies that are hiring for IT directors because we could fulfill that job. You can reach out to those IT directors. So it's a different way to use AI that I wouldn't have thought of before. Let's see what else I've got on here. There's one that we spoke with. I don't remember who they were, but they were giving you the buyer intent on their personality type using DISC because of their personality type. So it was using LinkedIn profiles and data on the web to build a DISC profile and give you information on the prospect. and kind of told you how to sell to the prospect and the best way to go about your messaging and your wording and your communication styles. That was pretty neat that I found interesting as well. Those were the main ones that were pretty awesome. AI SDR caught our attention. That does like everything's AI, and it does follow-ups and it books your appointments for you. So if someone replies to your email and says, yeah, like I want to schedule a meeting for this day and time, AI schedules it for you. And that's AI SDR. And you pay for like a certain amount of emails a month on that one. We didn't move forward with that one, but we were also, definitely impressed with it.
But a lot of these things you are talking about, you did manually a year ago, right?
Yeah.
You had spreadsheets of all these flows and all these charts of how you would follow up in the content. And now so much of this has been done for you. I think it's interesting too. It seems like that it is pulling information from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Do you guys have Sales Navigator or LinkedIn?
We're
or
like
LinkedIn Premium?
We're on and off with it. There's some tools out there. We spoke with a company called AI Bees, BEES, like bees. And they create emails, personalized emails using AI based off of LinkedIn profiles. So my LinkedIn profile, for example, it says I went to University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. It says I live in Honolulu, Hawaii now. It says on there, how long I've been with the company and the industry. And AIBs say they were out doing outreach to me. The email may say something like, like, aloha, Kindsey. I saw you're in Honolulu, Hawaii. Have you tried, have you tried Duraku sushi? I saw it's highly rated on Yelp.
Oh my gosh. They're talking about personalizing emails. Everyone's looking for headlines and content that is personalized.
Yeah.
That's pretty mind-boggling too.
You could do that yourself, yes, just by scrolling through or saying, I saw you went to University of Arkansas, Wu Pig Sui, like go Razorbacks. You could say something like that, or, I saw, the basketball game last night or the football game last night for your school that you went to.
Alma mater.
Yeah. And so the AIBs, they automatically personalize that email for you, and they bring up, that most popular restaurant or most highly rated restaurant or this cool new museum that opened. And again, you could just do it all yourself, but AI can do all that for you and write that personal, super, super personal email that catches their attention from the start.
I mean, that's very creative. And like you said, you could do that yourself, but that would take forever. So when you combine these tools that are identifying your moose, the interested moose, and then you're putting it together with content that you can improve with AI, and then you're using tools where they can create emails that are that personal. Yeah, that's a lot. But of course, each of these does have a cost. Yes. And you have to weigh, of course, which ones we need that will help us the most. Right. So this isn't really AI, but you switched CRMs, I believe, right? How's that gone? And are you happy with that?
Yeah, I can't remember when we spoke about that last. We switched. We were using ActiveCampaign, moved over to GlossHive. And then we recently, like a month ago, got off of GlossHive, and now we're using Halo CRM, which Halo is our PSA, which we use just like in our industry. And it's working. It's doing the job. It's what we need. Once we get our new sales guy up and running, we'll see how he likes it and how it rolls for him. But it's Halo CRM. It's okay. I'm not absolutely in love with it. I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect CRM unless I make a list and I make it myself.
Right.
There's never going to be the perfect CRM for you and your business. You're just going to have to pick one and find one that works.
Yeah, I can't believe how many choices there are on those too. I mean, all these tools, they're just like coming out of the woodwork, right?
For sure.
So let's see how we're doing on time. We're almost out. And again, I want to point out that I will be providing a list in the show notes that will list all of these tools that Kindsey is being kind enough to send me a list of. And who knows what's ahead. Do you have any others that you see coming down the pipe, or others that you use?
There's nothing else that we use. I have a big list and looking through it real fast. Yeah, there's nothing else that we're using that's really AI based. We have used Seamless AI in the past, which it was okay. And then we've also used Uplead, and those are both where you can find contact information for people.
That is pretty amazing when you first told me about that, because like you said, you can find phone numbers and addresses and emails and all kinds of information. So like you said, it's awesome and creepy at the same time. And of course, you being in the cybersecurity industry, and Tom, your CEO, has actually written 2 books about that. So you can look those up on Amazon.
Yeah, one is called Surviving the Global Cyber Pandemic, and the other is called Hack the Rich.
Hack the Rich. So if you're interested in something that might give you nightmares, but he has written those in parables, so they're interesting. And hopefully the AI for good will beat out the AI for bad.
Exactly.
But I love that it's based, the moose. The moose is a huge concept that you're always looking for your ideal customer, and companies and salespeople are famous for the spray and pray, which is just blasting out to everyone and hoping that, enough people will bite, where you're talking about really honing in on your moose, which is so much more effective. And again, when we first met, you were doing so much of this on your own, with spreadsheets and flow charts and all these different things that are now being done for you. So that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, there's on that Listed AI website, there's a lot too on there, just AI for your CRM. So you can do different things with your CRM and have it automated in different ways that you before maybe were manually doing it. So haven't played with any of that myself. But there's a lot on there, stuff you'd never even think of. There's an AI tool for it on that Listed AI website.
Well, I can't wait to look at that list. Kindsey, always a pleasure talking with you. Just a little fun fact, which you might remember or not, that Kindsey is working remotely in Hawaii, and she came from Fort Smith, Arkansas, and recently took a trip back to visit the crew, which I thought that picture was awesome. All the guys, and then there's Kindsey. And afterwards, she said, "I'm not going back to Fort Smith."
Not that time of year.
Yeah, that was in the winter. True. That's kind of a disadvantage, but I saw a picture of your apartment too. You pretty much have a floor to ceiling window.
Yeah.
And that the view is just incredible. So you're living the life, girl. But you're also working hard. You work 4 days a week, 4 tens, and then you do a lot of playing, but you work hard, play hard. And what time do you get up to work?
I wake up at 4:15 every day.
4:15 a.m.
Start at 5.
And then you put in your 10 hours.
Yeah.
And you start at work at 5, you said. Yeah. And then you put in your work, and then you're at the beach.
Yep.
And you also have 3 days off. So I think that it's a good deal for both of you, because Tom, as I've mentioned before, just, he knows he hit the lottery when he found you. And so it's just a real win-win for both of you. Kindsey, thank you so much. I really appreciate all this wealth of information that you've shared, the fact that you're going to send me a list of all the different tools that you used that the listener can check into, look into them.
Yeah.
So Kindsey, thank you so much once again for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Uncopyable Women in Sales, your source for secrets you can use to make more sales. Check the show notes for links and contact information. And if you enjoyed the podcast, please spread the word by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. You can always learn more by going to uncopyablesales.com/podcast. Until next time, go out and supercharge your sales like a true uncopyable rock star.